Let's kick off this Bears Now mailbag with a question from Buff Mac. My name is Harrison Graham. He says, with Jaylon out for the season, would trading for a corner before the deadline be considered a priority? Would a team like Denver be willing to trade a corner like Riley Moss? Stevenson just isn't it. See, I think if you're going to trade for a corner, I think you got to do it sooner rather than later. Like, I don't know if waiting for the deadline, if you're trying to salvage this season and you don't think what you currently have is enough, I got to make a move quickly, whether that's signing someone, whether that's trading someone. Riley Moss is an interesting name. Would they move on from him? I'm not sure. But, I think it'll be interesting to see what their sense of urgency is there if they kind of just roll with what they got. Harrison's Clean Desk. Appreciate the super chats from the last guy as well. Do you think the mesh between Ben and Caleb doesn't really work, considering Ben's structure guy and Caleb likes to ad-lib? Look, they're both going to, and I think this is an evolving process, they're both going to have to adapt if it's going to work at the highest level. Caleb's got to improve in structure, and again, from week 1 to week 2, I think he played better. Ben said that. I think the tape shows that. I think just the raw eye test of watching the game, I felt that. I felt like he was more comfortable. Doesn't mean it was perfect, but I thought there was improvement. And from Ben's standpoint, he talks about this from the beginning. Listen, we are going to build this offense with Caleb in mind. He's got to be willing to lean into some of those strengths from time to time. Obviously, in the NFL, to have major success, you got to be able to win from the pocket. So that's something they've really tried to hammer home with Caleb, and I think there's been growth. Is he where he needs to be? No, but is it better? I think it is. So I think ultimately we have to give it a fair amount of time to see if this can work. I don't think 2 games is a fair amount of time. I just don't. Is the Bears season over? Has the nail been placed in the coffin? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I don't think it's over yet. I did a full video explaining why. The Jaylon Johnson injury is a gut punch, but I think there's still time to get this thing going. From Lacora, do you think, or what do you think Dennis Allen's defensive problem is? I believe it's the pass rush, 100% guarantee besides Montez. Besides Montez, he's not giving you much. I think he's in a tough spot. I mean, he's been down his top 2 corners essentially in both games. Jaylon played obviously some in the second game before going down. Kyler hasn't been out there. Tyreek is struggling. Nashawn Wright, outside of the pick 6, hasn't been great. Kevin Byard was horrible in week 2, and the defensive line, especially in week 2, got 0 pressure. So it's tough, right? I mean, like, I think if you're Dennis Allen, you may have to start looking at this and just be like, we're just going to send more pressure. We're just going to dial up more blitzes and take chances. If they can't cover on the back end, and if they're not getting pressure somewhat consistently, I don't know what other choice you have. Even if you bring in, a Stephon Gilmore, a piece here and there, like, no one on the street is going to drastically change the direction of this defense. So maybe you just start dialing up blitzes and hope you can get home some. Tom, how do we go from such high expectations to where we are? Have any of the Bears draft picks done anything? Not really. They have not done much, which is frustrating. I think the injuries have hurt. I think blowing that Minnesota game really, I think that carried into week 2. I'm not saying they would have won against Detroit had they beaten Minnesota, but even if they lost that Detroit game the way they did, if they had just beaten Minnesota, you wouldn't feel like the sky is falling. You'd be like, okay, at the end of the day, we split these NFC North games. We would have taken that before the season. But to not close that Minnesota team out, especially after watching them again this week, it's like, that's a huge missed opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, you're just not getting enough good play from your key players. All right, we got a new Bears hoodie available at an awesome discount. This thing was $80. Now it's only $48, an insane deal. It's what? Quick math, it's like 35% off. Chatsports.com/Chicago hoodie. You got the Bear logo, the CHI, just clean, just crisp. Hoodie season's just around the corner. Chatsports.com/Chicago hoodie. Pick one up today. Jack Cano, what's your thoughts on Tory Taylor? I think it's absolute waste of a 4th-round pick. Insane reach for a guy that you could have gotten in the 7th round drafted. Makes me upset every punt. How he's performed, it's a horrible pick. I think last year he was good. I think he was like 11th in EPA and like net punting. It's like, okay, good punter, but like 4th round, you could find that in UDFA. Now, I will say this: there was a lot of chatter. He was going to get drafted, probably in the 4th or 5th round, if not by the Bears, by somebody. I don't think he would have gotten to the 7th, but that's a cocky pick, man. You make that pick if you think you're ready to be a major contender. Oh, let's draft a punter in the 4th. Let's try to get. And the second part of that is he needs to be elite. You can't draft a punter in the 4th and him not be one of the best in the league. He is not one of the best in the league right now. So, yeah, up to this point, that's a bad draft pick. Will Whitaker, would you consider Austin Booker coming back week 5 as a needle mover for the pass rush? It's hard to say. You hope so. I mean, you've had to elevate Tano passing you off the practice squad, and I've said his name more than other guys on the defensive line. That would be nice if he could contribute. Would I bank? Should we bank on that? He had a good preseason, but I think banking on that is risky business. So hopefully he gets back, comes back after the bye week because he'll have that extra week off in week 5 and can hit the ground running. But I also think that's a tall order. So we'll see. I don't have huge expectations there. If you're a diehard Bears fan, hit the subscribe button. We are here live every Monday and Thursday and game day, breaking down Bears coverage for you guys. We also drop videos every single day, and we do our watch parties every game day. So it's a lot of fun. Don't miss out. We are rocking and rolling every single day. For Tony Williams, Montez Sweat is such a waste of money. He stinks. Compared to his contract, I don't disagree. Him and Tremaine Edmonds are kind of the same to me in the sense of like they're good NFL players, but they're not producing nearly to the point of what they're getting paid. Montez Sweat is producing like a $12 to $15 million player. He makes 25. Tremaine Edmonds is producing like an $8 to $10 million linebacker. He makes 18. It's not a good return on your investment. It just isn't. Christian, it's a joke that Loveland and Burden are non-factors through 2 games. Also, how much should we blame Declan for offensive struggles? I think you asked that last week. I don't know how to measure the Declan Doyle impact. He's not the play caller. Sure, if you want to put him on the pie chart, he's clearly involved in the game planning. Well, a lot of the game planning is what you want to do early, right? Like, they've scored on their opening drive twice, so that's working. And even outside of that, and I know the lazy narrative on Twitter is, well, they score on the script, but then you get Caleb off the script, you can't play. It's like the bigger issue is they can't get out of their own way. And yes, Caleb is a part of that, but the penalties are just killing these drives. They're just a killer. If they can stop shooting themselves in the foot, they're going to score more points. Like, the offense is, especially the passing game, like you actually see it working. Sometimes the throw isn't being made on target, especially in week 1. I think that was cleaner in week 2. And a lot of the time, you're hurting yourself with penalties. And you obviously need the run game to come along. You need to be a complementary offense. But there are signs that this passing game can be really good. Spam it all week long. The Bears play the Cowboys, which means it's a Matt Eberflus return to Soldier Field game. Get the beat Flus chants going in the comment section of every single video. Got to beat Matt Eberflus, right? Come on, let's make it happen. Impact, don't trade for a corner. If you trade, get an edge rush, makes all your backfield better. Yeah, I mean, like, even if you trade for a corner, it wouldn't be like, you wouldn't do some major trade. At least I don't think. So, yeah, I think signing someone is probably more likely than trading for someone. Lucas Van Ness, if the Bears start 0-4, would Ryan Poles have the guts to trade DJ Moore if he received a reasonable offer? I don't know. If Ben Johnson's unhappy with Moore and they're out of the mix and you could get a day 2 pick for him, I wouldn't be opposed. I can't believe we're saying that 2 weeks in, but it's like, I hope we don't end up down that path, but like, it seemed like Ben called him out on Monday. Seems like he's not happy with the effort. We heard that chatter last year. He's making $27 million per year, man. You got to get more out of this guy. Give us a follow on social media. It's at HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram, at HGramNFL. Give us a follow. DMs are wide open. And we'll talk some Bears football. Bear down.